former Chief Bisong here of Houston. Go ahead, let's hear from you. Please, whatever they say, just take it as their personal views. Don't shout, don't scream, just let them speak, okay, please.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame we have to drag over absentee votes. I'm not going to talk much about it because our chair lady is not here. However, we expect that we follow the Constitution. We vote, then after voting, we talk about the absentee votes. So that is what I will say until we just maintain that.
I would just support the same idea. We'll follow the Constitution and go ahead with the election.
My name is Martha Ayub from Reno, Nevada. I have no ties to anyone, and so my representation is free of bias. So you should count that anything that happens here will be very, very fair.
Let me say a few things. You know, concerning the absentee ballots, I realize that there's a problem and we can solve that problem easily. I did, however, bring the point to the attention of the chief. Remember, it doesn't say a chapter applying for its members, so they cannot make a group. And so I think that those type of votes should be rejected, and which my colleagues have rejected the offer. They think that such votes should stay. And I had written to the chief about 3 weeks ago and requested that she keeps all documentation. Unfortunately, when we arrived today, there were no copies for the payments that were made. How am I going to know these guys truly made the payments? I cannot just come here and sit here and say, listen, these guys are qualified, they should go ahead and vote. The Constitution states clearly that you make a $150 payment either by money order or a cashier check. I have not seen any of that. And it is difficult for me to stand here and say, listen, these people are going to vote because the IEC chief says she has them all. And the IEC, because it's a problem of trust right now. In the meeting, I said there should be a video so that everything we say, there should be a video and they can give it to the people, sell it, so people will determine who is speaking the truth or not. And the chief refused the video. And I have no contention. Why should we refuse a video? You take a video of what I'm saying right now, present it, hold me responsible tomorrow. If I'm telling a lie, so be it. And then you charge me for to be a liar. And when we came here, she quickly told you guys that we have decided 6 by 3, which was not true because we didn't vote. And if there was a video, you would have quickly realized that that was not a fact. So those are certain things that I think we can handle. Nonetheless, I believe strongly that we can resolve this thing easily. And like they have said, I have no problem if those absentee ballots are to be looked upon individually by whichever committee that both candidates select, even if I'm among or not. See, my problem is to make people to be aware when something is wrong, so that you can decide what to do. If it is wrong, you do it. If not, you let it go. Now the last thing, the annual and project membership, we have not seen that. The lists were not submitted. We don't even know the names. How am I going to know if these guys are eligible or not? They should bring the list and so that I will look at the names and look at if these names are there on that list. They were not. I haven't seen that. The seal envelopes. To the best of my knowledge, I saw 4 seal envelopes. And when you look at just in one chapter, there were about 10 names. In those 10 names should have 10 envelopes. They should not have 4 envelopes. And if I have to go through all of that, that is what is holding this meeting hostage. That is why we are here. It's not because anybody is rejecting absentee ballot. We had one that we all approved. There was no objection to it. Everybody said, well, they did exactly what was supposed to be done. And that's my thing. Please, I want you guys to bear with me that I hate crookedness. And I may not say something. If I say something that is wrong, maybe I didn't have the right information. But know that I know that this thing is wrong, and I still stand on it. No, God forbid. Thank you very much.
Manu!
absentee ballots. A long time ago, even before this June 10th deadline, I advised the chair that we have to be very, very careful, else this will create us headache here today. I wrote as well to all of the chiefs and the IEC members, stating that, you know, we must follow the Constitution as it is. It's absolutely clear, very clear to everyone who chooses to read. Sitting here today, I haven't seen all of the requests, neither have I seen any payments, any evidence of payments, and evidence that the IEC chair actually mailed out these ballots to those who requested them. I'm very, very sincere. I don't want to take sides. I have uncles on one side and friends on the other side, so I choose to stick in the middle. So please, if we can only follow the Constitution, everything will be fine. For the time being, I'll advise that let's go ahead with the voting. After we finish this, we seal the box, we look at the absentee ballots. Whichever one is valid, we put them in there. Whichever one is not, we throw them out.
Manuel, the issue about absentee ballots, I don't think that the IEC coordinators don't have evidence. When we had a meeting argued for an hour, and what happened is we had 3 members that said the issue that arose from our debate was there were chapters that individuals requested the absentee ballot but decided to mail it in one envelope, in separate envelopes with their money order and cashier's check. Individuals, we had 3 IEC individuals that did not want us to accept those ballots because they came in an envelope, even though all those individuals had their addresses that those ballots were supposed to be mailed to. So in a sense, what we had 6 people saying do it and 3 people saying do not do it. In IEC, we do not take votes because we do not make the Constitution. We don't make law, we implement law. So after I saw what happened, I wrote to the Council of Chiefs, which the Constitution clearly states they have the final say on any issue that is pertaining to Meca-Usa. And the Council of Chiefs, they met and they gave us a decision on it, that if individuals requested their absentee ballot and they put it in an envelope, those ballots should be counted. And even with that, the 3 people that were against said they are still against, and that is where we stand. So I don't see why, if we have a constitution that says we are supposed to have absentee ballots, you pay $150 money order, cash check, non-refundable, and we are going to sit here and say, thank you for your money, but your vote will not count, even though you are acting on your leave. It is not fair, it is not right, it is not what the Constitution states. And so, in my opinion, we should go ahead and vote, and the absentee ballot, I don't care who looks at it, the evidence that the IEC coordinator has will be looked into. Thank you.
Manuel, trust me, a lot of water has gone under the bridge since this election process started, and since we here were appointed by different chapters to represent them. There's been a lot of argument on issues relevant and irrelevant. There's been a lot of dispute on interpretation of the Constitution. Some people could interpret better, others couldn't. Some people picked up flaws in the Constitution, others did not. And like she rightly said, it got to a point where it was kind of a stalemate, and we had to call the attention of the Council of Chiefs because we were getting nowhere, and the time for the elections was drawing near for the voting. So they accepted that the elections should go on today, the voting should go on, and whoever it is that had requested to come in to vote in absentia, as long as their request came in on time, and the non-refundable $150 was paid in, and they had the ballots, we should go ahead and accept those absentee ballots. And that's why we agreed that no matter what, we could go ahead and probably make recommendations. The IEC could make recommendations for future reference, so that some of those things that were difficult for us to, those challenges that were difficult for us to address could come in, so that we could subsequently cross that bridge when we get there. So at this point, I am saying that we should go ahead with the elections and probably deal with the problem of absentee ballots later on. Thank you.
Manu, well, for me, I have my own opinion. As far as the IEC is concerned, I strongly believe that there was a lot of inconsistency. Like in my case, we had 33 members from North Carolina that were rejected because of some issues, because when they imposed $1,000 on us that we had to pay as registration within a short time. So we couldn't meet up, but we were ready to pay for our registration. So we wanted them to give us time. And since IEC does not make the constitution, we wrote to the Council of Chiefs, and they never replied, just as somebody mentioned, that they had to raise an issue. So for me, IEC has been too inconsistent and a lot of arguments. And I'm happy that the floor has taken over to help us, so the election can go ahead and then we go on with that.
Manu. Okay. I would like to stand. First of all, I will tie the blame. I will not quickly run to tying the blame, but I'm declaring that the IEC also has two cards. The way the people speak is either A or B. That is why we did not come here with a conclusive process. We were given that assignment to bring a process here that everybody would adhere to. We went to a law where the, how do you call that, absentee ballots? The process to apply for absentee ballots requires you to individually, the Constitution states it. That is what caught us out there discussing for about 2 hours. If the issue of absentee ballot is taken care of, we can roll on. We did not come to an agreement because we did not see the document trail to qualify one person. We started the process. That is what happened. We started the process. The chief brought an envelope and a letter, an application letter. They verified on the list. That was correct. They checked that guy's name. And then no other document came forward. The argument was now that you cannot be voting absentee and do it collectively. Seseko Bini said it here, that it is an individual issue, and that is what we were emphasizing in this group, that it is not collective, it is individual. So there's no paper trail. Since there was no paper trail, some did agree, some did not agree. That's why we came here with no solution on that. We decided that we're going to put it by the side and deal with it later. But I think the people are not taking that. The issue is that if we had a proper document, a proper process that we brought to the floor, all this will not be waiting. But the IEC does not have a package for this election. What will happen after this, I don't know. All what is here is the documentation trail is not correct. From the list to this independent electoral, whatever. From the list from the chapters to independent, who are those people again? Yeah, the document trail is not correct. Yeah, that's what brings us argument in this group. And if this group is not in order, you guys will not have an election. Yeah. So I don't know where to take it from there, but if you follow, our document trail is not too clear.
Thank you, Mr. Victor Warren. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard from all the IEC, they call them IEC people, Mr. Warren, Independent Electoral Committee, that's their name. Now, let me, Dr. Sam, you just came back. I hope the emergency wasn't something. Is it okay? Now, can you tell, we've given, before you came, we've given an opportunity to every member here to speak. And we just want to get your view on a few things, just your view. And then we are going to continue voting and then count the electoral ballots after. We're going to determine what the process is later.
Manu, you know, when I took this position, I knew it's not an easy task. I knew my people, and I knew it's just fair to have things straight. Unfortunately, our people were not very vested with the Constitution. And I will tell you what actually happened without concealing anything, because it's my credibility that's at stake. And let me tell you, as long as I've been professionally, family-wise, I'm a woman of principle, and I preserve my credibility, irrespective of what people will stand here and say. The whole process, Manu, I will tell you. Chapters, I want to start from chapter list. What we have here is some chapters and some IEC members, the way we've been operating, when it favors them, particularly, I'm sorry to call names, but I have to, Mr. Hamilton Ayuk, when it favors him, he will say, let's use the Constitution. When it doesn't favor his team, because he has openly been campaigning, and he's let us know where he stands, is for that Goibini team. Unfortunately, when it favors him, he will say, let's use the Constitution. When things doesn't go for him, he will say, let's not follow the Constitution. You see, we had a teleconference. This whole process is taught, and we're here today without really resolving issues, because we had a teleconference June 21st, trying to resolve some of these issues, absentee ballots and everything. During the teleconference, we were questioning the Ebini team, some of the candidates, two of the candidates, who did not meet the constitutional requirements, Hamilton got so violent, he didn't want us to talk about it because there was, these people did not meet the constitutional requirements to run for office. And he disrupted, he goes, just as usual, when he doesn't want us to talk about it because it doesn't favor him and he knows it's going to work against him, he goes, I will disrupt this meeting. I will disrupt, we told him, or I will, if you guys, we're not voting, if we vote, I'm going to drop out. Most of the members told him he could drop out. So he disrupted the meeting by he took his phone, he put it He's open loud music.
It's very important.
He put on, it's very important, guys. You may say it's not important. You people are really being very biased. You see, so during that meeting, we were supposed to take care of this absentee ballots, answer a lot of questions. Hamilton disrupted, we begged him, despite all attempts, begging Mr. Ayok to turn off his radio so that we could resolve this issue, just because it didn't favor him and he knew we were going to disqualify these candidates. He turned on the radio and that was it. The teleconference ended. And because of time, now we called another one. We started doing absentee emails. We were working through emails. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you exactly the process of the absentee ballots. During chapters were reminded time and again. IEC members were told to remind their chapters of absentee ballots and the due dates. Mr. Ebini Christmas, I've been at least reading his Constitution 101, and also sometimes I did consult with him and he gave some advice on what to do. Now, the problem where we're sitting here today, let me tell you guys, the real issue of the absentee ballot is the fact that you have some people, the reason why we could not agree is that, let's say we have some people who leave some chapters, have 10 requests for absentee ballots with 3 envelopes, because some of these people live within the same proximity and their husband and wives and live in the same home. Okay, I have the evidence. These absentee ballots, okay, excuse me guys, please. I know my credibility is at stake, so I have to defend myself. We have, these people sent individual requests, and we have those requests individually, addresses and everything. But the problem we have is that they were not put in individual envelopes. Constitution. I think the Constitution is very vague. The Constitution is vague. Okay, I have the records here. I have the records of individual requests with envelopes brought by the deadline. What we don't have is individual envelopes, because they're saying that they should have. So we have evidence of people requesting their ballots on time. We have evidence that they get to us on time. The problem is they are not in individual envelopes. So some members, excuse me. Can I talk? How can you do this? How can you do this? Okay. So what happened was that some members decided that we agree that this is a new process. It's a new process, and maybe some people do not understand. It's a very new process, so maybe members thought if we live in the same household, we could mail our absentee ballots in the same envelope. Maybe people didn't know that. So some of us agreed that, the process is new. Let us go accept it at this time. Make sure next time we tell people it has to be individual envelopes, because it's a new process. That's it. So there's no fraud. People make it to easy. And then, please, another thing, money orders in terms of payment. Most chapters, even their dues, were sent to the IEC, and unfortunately, I have thousands of dollars of checks that some chapter leaders would bear with me, came to me. Some of it I sent to Bentani, some of it I sent to Wawu. It did not occur to me to make a copy of every check or every. When we had the last
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard from all the members of the IEC. You know what their views are. Please give them a hand. These people are doing a good job. Whether you like it or not, thank you so much. Dr. Mrs. Sam and all the members of the IEC, we really do appreciate the work that you're doing. Now, if we raise questions, that has nothing to do with your integrity as individuals. It has to do with the integrity of the association itself. And those are legitimate concerns. Now, at this moment, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do. We are going to add these individuals to the Independent Electoral Committee to examine the issue of the absentee ballot later on. Now, those individuals are Mr. Cletus Ayok. Please. We already have an agreement. Don't come and interrupt this process. It cannot work like that. Listen, we have a gentleman agreement. Mr. Hamilton, we have a gentleman agreement, yes or no?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a misunderstanding. We do have an agreement. And here's the agreement. These people are going to examine the absentee ballot. That's a fact. They are going to examine the absentee ballot based on provisions within the Constitution. They are not going to do it only by themselves. We are going to add some level-headed people that this team and this team, not this team. No, I'm sorry, Mister. I just have to use a definition for something. We are going to add people. These are the people that we are going to add. We are going to add Mr. Cletus Ayok. Please give him a hand. Mr. Cletus Ayok is going to be part of the process. We are going to add Sister Joanne Sim to that process. Please give her a hand. We are going to add Mr. George Ashu to that process. Please give him a hand. And then we are going to add Mr. Chris Mosebini to that process. Please give him a hand. All these people are going to examine these issues. Now, this is what is going to happen at this moment right now. We are going to go on with voting, and to expedite the process, we are going to have, and I'm going to crave with the IEC, to establish 2 sets of balloting tables so that we could have 2 chapters doing the balloting at the same time. They could come from this area and that area and then throw in the ballots. They're insisting that it must be 1 chapter at a time, so I stand corrected. I'm sorry. Okay, it's just to expedite the process so that we could be here and... So at this moment, this is what we're going to do. The voting is going to continue, and we're going to pass on the microphone to the IEC coordinator or whoever she appoints to conduct the voting. Please, we cannot have any deliberations at this moment. I'm sorry.
It is Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, put your finger on me. Assam, put your finger on me. Yes, my friend.
Intimidation doesn't work, and we are not going to accept it here.
We can go home. Thank you. Everybody go home. No elections.
At this point in time, the meeting is adjourned. You all have to leave. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, the meeting is adjourned. You have to leave now, right now. If you have a room right now, not in the lobby, everyone has to go to their room, go outside, whatever. But you have to leave, and we'll readdress this in a little while. But everybody's out right now. Let's go. This is not up for debate right now. The meeting is over with. Let's go. Please, ladies and gentlemen, when you go out there, please clear the lobby. Please clear the lobby.
carry my family, pay tickets and all that. I'm beginning to get tired of it. I don't know whether it's the people.
That's why you should be in the right side of justice.
Well,
that's why you should be looking at this thing with a historical perspective.
That is historic. I'm giving you
and experience.
The historical part of it is every time we have been in Meca-Usa, it has not worked. It doesn't matter.
And you know why?
It doesn't matter what
because the NEC, last time in 2001, it was the NEC. Right. All right, in 2001, they crossed it from this group that was formed in 1999.
But when they went to Houston, it was not the NEC.
Until you
when they went to Atlanta, it was not the NEC.
Let me tell you.
But when they went to Dallas, it was not the NEC. But when we come to Washington, D.C.,
don't blame DC. Don't blame DC. Until you ban these two armies.
You explain it to me now.
I've just told you, there are two armies.
Okay.
There are two armies in Meca-Usa.
Okay.
Until they don't, if they don't drop the arms.
Yes, until they drop the arms.
Until they drop the arms. There are about 10 people. 10 people.
But these two armies have still gone to Houston. These two armies have still gone to Dallas. These two armies have still gone to
and you know what? I was the chairman in Dallas.
Right.
You know that the convention in Dallas almost never happened. Or else we will have two conventions.